let's take a look at my headline here. And Binghamton team looks for the correlation between layoffs and data loss. This one's a little bit interesting here.
Oh,
Layoffs and
fill me
data
in.
loss.
Fill me in, Adam. Fill me
Yeah,
in.
so it's interesting here. So researchers at Binghamton, they're spending much of the next school year testing a couple of workplace hypotheses, and this one's interesting. One is companies that announce layoffs are more likely to face a cybersecurity breach.
Really?
Let's say that again. Companies that announce layoffs. So does this mean that they think some employees are going to go rogue and be like, "I just forgot to close the back door where all the data is"? Is that Joel? What do you think? What do you think? Is that real?
Well, it's retribution.
Retribution.
It's revenge. No,
The
I,
revenge briefing.
I just think like, look, this is the whole it's kind of like the culture of work right now, where if you are afraid of layoffs, which I'm hearing a lot more people are afraid of layoffs, and rightly so. I just think your work performance is going to go down, and so you're going to have people make mistakes because they're going to be almost more engaged in, am I going to lose my job, than anything else. So I think that's probably where it comes from. I really would hope that it's not people like deliberately leaking data. I mean, that would be kind of a scary thought.
Yeah. I mean, if I have to work in a cubicle like that, forget about it. And then the second hypothesis is that orgs that demonstrate some concern for employee well-being, or what the professors like to call corporate social responsibility, they can reduce the likelihood of severity of breach. It's a difficult task when former team members are packing up their desks. So basically, it's like showing care on the way out. Like maybe they'll be less inclined to, leave the security door open.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of odd. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it's don't just lay off people with them getting locked out of their system. You know when that happened with Google, where it was like people were signing in and their password suddenly didn't work.
Oh,
Maybe
that's the worst. What a terrible way to get let go. Like first thing in the morning, like you get up in the morning and like you can't like you look at your phone like your work emails and you're like, oh, what's wrong over here? And then you realize you look at your personal email and they fired you through your personal email because they locked you out of your like what a crappy experience.
but I think they do that so people can
Of
leak
course, so they
stuff,
can't leak.
right?
Yeah,
It's
so they can't be
crazy.
jerks. Production team, can you hear us? We can hear us on ourselves. Hey, anybody in the audience here, just give us a thumbs up that we're coming in clear there. We're just making sure. Danielle will be back with us in a moment. Her mom just cut off her iPad access. So Joel and I are going to keep this. Joel and I are going to keep this one going. Joel, what's Joel's headline? Let's get to Joel's headline, and we'll double back to Danielle in a minute.
Let's see. Okay, so 49 million Americans have a substance use disorder, which is a SUD. I learned that from this article.
It's suds, but is it suds for beer too? Isn't that a stupid acronym?
Yeah,
Suds and buds, bruh.
Steven said we sound good, by the way, so
Okay.
we just got to figure it out. So basically, um, what it reported was, I think it's 1 in 10 Americans are actually afraid to, kind of admit that they have a substance abuse disorder or substance use disorder to employers because of judgment.
Of course.
So, really just which I think there's a lot going on, right? We have a lot of instability right now. Again, even just talking about layoffs, like if you're in an environment where you're afraid of being laid off, it's people sometimes turn to substances for that, right? It also mentioned like ways that you can kind of support employees, and one is, and this is one I've been thinking about again with conference season coming up, is like we
Hmm.
do circle so much around like alcohol, right? And
No, we
so
talked about this on last week's show. We had a whole segment on it.
yeah, and so it's I think if you're planning work events, it's making sure that you're like thinking about people who are struggling with alcohol, or are in that position, right? And creating events that don't just center around alcohol or anything like that. So what are your thoughts with this? I mean, are you
Yeah, this is a tough one too, and we've all had friends and family affected by substance abuse, and obviously it affects everything. There's people that can't shut it off during work time, and people are scared that if they admit they have a problem, or if they even if they utilize their insurance, some people are so paranoid that if they use their insurance for help, somehow the company's going to know about it and it'll affect them. So what do? They either go deeper down the rabbit.
good
Good morning,
Good morning.
everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy
Go.
Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Yes, we did it. It's another week. Squad is gearing up for Wreckfest. We're going to get to all that stuff down in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to get to it. Everyone checking in. Good morning. Welcome to the HR Morning Show, the number one things for all things HR all morning long. This is how we do it, folks. And we're part of Purple Acorn, the only online community for HR pros, decision makers, tech-savvy individuals, and entrepreneurs interested in the latest HR news and updates. And if you're hungry for more after, head over to purpleacorn.io. Follow us on LinkedIn. And the gang's all here. I feel like the planets have aligned. And if
Reunion.
Yes, and if you're watching us live right now, sound off in the comments. Joel will be keeping an eye on that. And we're live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. on the East Coast, 7 a.m. bright and early on the West Coast, and wherever the heck you are in the middle of the country, whatever time it is in those time zones. You guys can figure that out on your own. I'm just kidding.
I don't know if I can.
No, the math is hard there. And if you're watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn, leave a comment. We'll be able to check that in.
No, not on YouTube.
No comments on YouTube.
Mean. They get mean on YouTube. So.
No, we don't want to do that. Make sure we also have the audio version. So subscribe on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. So let's get to it. This episode is going to be a little different because we are all Wreckfest all the time, baby. So let's get wrecked. Let's get to it.
Get wrecked.
Let's get wrecked. So let's check in here. So I've had the opportunity to attend Wreckfest UK and last year's premiere. The first event in Nashville was awesome. Joel and I got to hang out and meet in person. We had a great time. We broed out.
Where's my invite, guys?
We supported each other. Evan, check on Danielle's invite next year. This year, unfortunately, I'm unable to go, but Joel's going to be holding down the fort. Let's talk about Joel. This is a big one. You will be hosting the Unplugged stage. What day are you doing that? Talk about it.
Oh, man, we're going to be doing so many panels on AI. It's just all AI, everything. It's not really. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm super amped. We'll be talking about employer brand. We're going to be talking about future of recruiting. And I'm hosting, I think there's like 3 or 4 panel conversations. So I am amped for it.
Wow.
I'm amped for Unplugged. And I'm at the beginning, so that means I got to bring the energy, it's like people aren't going to have coffee in them, or, so.
They will.
Yeah, but I'm going to get them hyped up. The only thing I'm missing is my buddy, the rapping recruiter. If the rapping recruiter
Raul.
out there, I know, if Raul was out there, he could do some beatboxing and we could do collab,
Would have been epic.
We're gonna get him on here. Joel, well, do you remember last year, Joel, they put me on at 9 a.m. that Friday morning?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was hurting. I don't know, I was hurting from the night before, but you were there. And your support meant everything to me.
Front row.
Joel
I was one of 5 people there.
No, there was more than that. There was maybe 12. I mean, the early morning slot is horrific, but hey.
No, it's great. I'm honored. I'm honored to be hosting. I think for me, hosting is a lot of fun because you get to hear the conversations. You get to add in.
Make
There
jokes.
he is. Raul in the house. Mendoza, rapping recruiter. So yeah, I'm super amped for that. Hopefully, I don't get unplugged.
I think you'll be. You're not me.
Do you have your jokes ready, Joel? What kind of jokes are you gonna tell?
I mean, I'm just gonna run through a year's worth of LinkedIn posts. Like,
Go to the Reddit thread.
No, just read your templates. I think that'll do it.
I'm working, so I'm getting there today. So I'm gonna have like a day to kind of prepare. So that's what I was thinking. Some like recruiting stand up. But I'm afraid I might get ghosted, so I don't know.
Ben can help you with that.
No, I think you're gonna do great. What's the weather forecast? Is it looking good?
Yeah, looking great.
Last year was beautiful, right?
Yeah, looking great if you like English weather, like rainy.
Nah,
it'll be fine.
There's a lot going on. We're gonna get to the parties. We're gonna talk about everything going on in a little bit. Danielle, so what do you got going on? Well, but before I get to that, I got to give a shout out. Today's my wife's birthday, so I'm going to give a big shout out to her. Happy birthday to her. We got some fun stuff planned for the weekend. We got a kid-free staycation coming up this weekend, so looking forward to hanging out with some friends in the city. And Danielle, no, you're not invited. You're not old enough for that.
The age limit is what?
We've elevated the age. No, of course. We're looking forward to staying and see. Danielle, what's happening? What are you doing this week? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I'm currently in New Jersey. Spent a few days just living the suburban life, helping my friend pick out furniture. Really exciting. Yeah.
Welcome
We
to our world.
discovered a new yeah, you guys might know this store. It's called World Market.
Nope.
It's
I only know Home
incredible.
Goods. I only know Home Goods. Is it like Home Goods or
We
better?
went to Home Goods, we went to Home Sense, we went to Home Depot, we went to Costco,
Beth
we went to TJ Maxx. I mean, you name it, we went there.
Menards?
But to be honest, World Market had everything. So shout out to them. And yeah, this week I'm just chilling in the city. You know, I find that lately I feel like the conference stuff just kind of becomes overwhelming and a bit of a distraction for me because a lot of conferences, you know, they don't pay speakers necessarily, and that's the train that I'm running on.
Hot take alert.
Money.
No, I've written posts about it.
At least cover travel. At least cover travel. At least cover travel.
Yeah. So I am going to Inbound next week in Boston.
What's Inbound?
It's it's HubSpot's marketing conference. So we'll see Ryan Reynolds there. We'll see Serena Williams. We'll see a lot of really awesome people. I'm excited. I'm going with my friend Ariel Berlinski, who we won tickets actually through Marketing Millennials. Daniel Murray, who's also
you're not a millennial.
So. Dan Murray.
Well, I fit in with that crowd, unlike you.
Oh, so you could you're a chameleon. You could
I'm a zillennial.
A zillennial, you could kind of
that's why I can speak
in and out
to my generation and be, you know,
you are the voice of the new generation.
Yeah.
I love it. So you got HubSpot. I think that's gonna be great. I've seen some ads for that coming up, and they do it well. I mean, that's a big
heavy
budget. I mean, to get Ryan Reynolds. I mean, we just watched the movie If over the weekend. By the way, Joel, have you seen If? Danielle, have you seen If?
No.
If stands for imaginary friend.
Nice.
Oh, I remember seeing. Yeah,
it was. I'm not going to give it away. The end is a little tearjerker. That's I want you to all be prepared.
Well, you just gave it away.
I mean, but I didn't say what happens. I didn't say. Yeah, I mean, after that, we got HR Tech coming up. I'll be heading out there with our friends over at Higher Road. That's exciting. I'll be out in Vegas. I will be there towards the end of the month. I think I'll be out there the 24th to the 27th. I'll be doing a cool event with Higher Road with our buddies Chad and Cheese over there. We're going to be giving out some koozies. We're going to be doing some podcasting. We're going to be doing some Purple Acorn recording when we're there. So we got some cool stuff coming out. I'm going to represent the crew there. But let's get to it. Let's Let's bring on where's our friend? Where's our friend? Let's bring in our friend because I am. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hello.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Come in.
Look at that.
Mike Staffy in the house.
In the house.
We had special branded sloths made. This is not homemade at all.
Oh,
whoa! When am I getting one of those?
It's not just a sticker. It's a legitimate
embroidery.
It's not a sticker.
It's not a sticker.
Wow. Is that what Evan was doing just all night, like
sewing, just sitting there, just
speaking
sewing.
Of stickers, Joel, we're going to be at Wreckfest, and I don't know if you actually looked at the weather, but 95% of Nashville will be wet on Friday.
That's perfect. I love
that.
Mike,
exactly.
Well, how many
the new shoes are for?
Well, so listen, I have a legitimate concern because we got all these awesome shoes, and we're all going to be walking around in the field. Like, I don't even wear these things in my personal life because I don't want to like crease them and like make them look bad. So now we're going to be outside walking around. By the time we see Adam at HR Tech, they're going to be covered in mud.
Whoa, hold on, Mike. You don't have boots. You don't have ERIN red boots. It's kind of weird if a dude wears. You can't really wear red boots.
Have you ever
what
seen
kind of shoes do you wear in like muddy but sunny weather?
Mudders.
You know what we need is so there's things we're going to be handing out. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but we need like when people come to work in your house, they put the little
the bags
on their shoes and they walk around. We should hand out ERIN booties at Acorn.
We're going to say
ERIN's always thinking. You guys are always thinking about what people actually want.
Yeah, and everybody wants booties for a field, right? But listen, I'm watching closely. We just rush ordered 500 ponchos from Amazon.
Smart.
and they arrive tonight by 10 o'clock. Ignore the almonds and the sugar-free beef jerky. But so like tomorrow, we're going to be slapping ERIN stickers on all these ponchos, trying to get them ready for
Joel's going to be. That's why Joel's getting there early. Joel loves slapping stickers.
You got to meet us at the Airbnb, and we're going to be.
I'm going to be peddling them.
To do. A bottle of bourbon, 500 ponchos. We're going to be all right.
Not only are you a co-host for the ERIN sponsored show, but you're also the intern.
Mike, what are you looking forward to at RecFest?
Look, I stopped at it last year. We didn't exhibit at it, but we actually had a pre-party last year. That was a pretty cool time. Look, Nash Vegas is probably the most fun city in the United States. So I'm mostly looking forward to the bourbon. But the show, I'm only going for Jules' host.
Did you bring your no-dos?
What's that?
You have your no-dos, so you don't doze off during Joel's?
Dude, come on.
We got.
That's mean.
That's why they have nicotine, right?
Oh,
nicotine and coffee.
Yeah, we're gonna be lighting up in the unplugged stage. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what they do in Nashville?
We're just gonna keep yelling out songs for you to play.
It's gonna be a blast.
DJ.
Joel's bringing his harmonica.
Yeah. Oh wow! No, it's gonna be a blast, man. I'm pumped.
And I'm actually kind of excited for the rain because watching a whole bunch of people like squirm around in a field trying to find a place for cover, it's going to be fun.
It's going to bring people closer because it's going to mean like you have to go to the tents.
You're going to have more people at your session for sure. This is strategic.
That's actually a fair point, but I feel bad for the sponsors with booths out there because everyone's going to be going into the tents if it's raining.
That'd be walking around trying to collect QR codes.
So you got to think ahead.
I'm sending good vibes out there for good weather. I think that the clouds are going to clear. I think it's going to be sunny, and the rain's going to hold off till you're at the airport trying to get home.
That's right.
That's good thinking. So, I mean, did you guys see the thing earlier this year where everybody's like, I was this many days old when I found out how the weather actually works? When it says 95% of rain, like that means 95% of Nashville is going to be covered in water. So it's not.
That's what it means.
Huh,
That's what it means.
It's not per chance.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is the big thing. So when they say 50% rain, it's not a 50% chance. It means 50% of that area is going to be covered in water.
No.
We need a fact check on that one.
I'm GPT.
Do it on the spot.
I'm going to look at my Accu. So I use AccuWeather. What app are you using?
That's what I got. Right?
Is this some kind of weird Pittsburgh thing?
He's probably using like
there's a lot
in the Android weather app.
When they say it's 50%.
All right. Well, Mike, for anyone out there who's not familiar with ERIN, what's ERIN all about?
So, look, I got to back this up real quick. A 50% chance for rain. There's a 50% chance for any one spot on the forecast area to get wet during the forecast period.
So it means it will rain.
It means Nashville is going to be wet.
Right.
But
so there's
thanks for asking, Adam. We do two things and we do them really well. One, we really like sloths. So, like, if you would see our true our the rest of our office, it's really weird. There's a lot of weird sloth things here. But outside of that, we also do employee referral software, and we just launched our recognition tool. So you guys are going to start seeing some new branding coming out at the trade shows. It's not just referrals; it's referrals, mobility, and now recognition. And we're super pumped about it.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Very nice. Wait, is that a sloth photo painting behind you?
Everywhere. I'm telling you.
An Abbey Road sloth.
So the conference
rooms you don't want to be stuck behind there in a car. Yeah.
The conference rooms here are all sloth. Like they're movie posters, but the protagonist is replaced with a sloth. So instead of jaws, we have claws, and it's a giant sloth reaching up to grab the boat. And then we got
so interesting.
We have Slothman prophecies, Sloth Father. You guys aren't down with Sloth Father?
The Sloth Father, I like that one.
Sloth face, like Scarface, and the sloth.
Sloth face.
That's a good one. Sloth face is a good one. We can
wow.
Say hello to my little friend.
So hey, we're good on this weather thing. We all learned something.
Yeah.
No,
Mike said at least
think
only half of the city will be raining. Just have to pick the right spot. That's from Mike Wood in the comments. So
see, you were today years old.
The only thing is though, is on my weather thing it says chance of precipitation.
chance of any.
There's always a chance of snow. A zero chance, but there's a chance.
It's okay. It'll only be raining at Joel's stage.
Oh wow!
Yeah. 95% is all condensed. One 50 by 50 area. It's gonna be.
And then right when I'm done, it just ends.
But back to Joel for a second here. We're very concerned about your preparation. What goes into your prep, Joel? Do you have like an opening act? Do you have a monologue?
Bro, I'm a winger, right? So I just wing things. No, I'm gonna put together something. I don't want to give it away, okay? Because if I let people into the mind here, it's gonna be over, okay?
Is somebody recording
that
this?
means he hasn't done any prep yet, and he's stalling.
You can ask the team here. I'm so prepared in every moment of every.
It's okay. I procrastinate too sometimes, Joel.
It's fine.
It's where our best ideas come from.
It's going to be great. It's unplugged. He doesn't even have a microphone. He doesn't have to worry.
No, they're going to unplug him. Seriously, like 2 minutes in, they're just going to unplug. Well, that's interesting. So I want to get back to ERIN, and I want to talk about, just first and foremost, thank you for sponsoring this thing we call the HR Morning Show. We're big fans of the brand. We're big fans of you guys over there, and we want to thank you for all of your support in these red sneakers. So I'm wearing my red sneakers first time today, which you know what that meant. When I put them on in my house, I was able to walk around we're a no-shoes house. I walked around my whole house with sneakers this morning, and my little dude, my 6-year-old, was yelling at me, "Why can't I wear my sneakers in the house?" I'm like, "You have outdoor sneakers." And it was a very hard thing to explain, but he loved them. So we might have to think about a kids line eventually. So
we might need just like 2 pairs for every host. Like
just make them indoor.
Yeah, we have inside shoes in booties just in case.
Well, what about slippers? I have a pair of red UGG slippers. I'll show you those. Those are pretty dope.
Red Uggs.
Red UGG slippers. And the reason, that's a story for another time, but I have red UGG slippers. They were like
Who
literally
buys red Uggs?
They were on the outlet sale. It was a discount. They're my indoor house slippers.
Oh.
Then he has his Crocs.
Silently judging you.
He's fine. He's got a
Don't judge me until you put them on.
Outside.
They are very comfortable.
I have really comfy ones on right now.
And home shoes, like what? Walk us through.
Well, no. In the house, it's usually barefoot, right? But you might want slippers if it's cold out. And then you have, and then I have sandals by the door when I go in and outside of the backyard. And then you have your regular shoes that go in and out of the house.
I'm just going to say I totally understand your 6-year-old's confusion. This makes perfect sense.
I mean, there's no, and they're all over the.
He's right to call you out.
We dug it. So Mike, who should be checking out ERIN at RecFest?
Yeah, anybody that's looking to change how they're recruiting, meaning changing their funnel, spend a little bit less money on Indeed and give it back to your employees. That's who we're targeting. Anybody that wants to be strategic, get into community-based hiring. That's where referrals thrive. It's not everybody has that as part of their strategy, but if you're looking to get more hires from referrals, we're definitely the ones to talk to at the show. I did scope it out. There's no competition there. It's just us, and we're gonna have ponchos. In little baby sloths. I think we're doing
so much swag.
We got this guy's little brother. So.
I'm picking one up.
Joel, yeah, you're.
My daughter has rubbed every sloth I have. So
look, you can hang it on your Christmas tree. There you go. Now here's a quick story for these. So over the pandemic, there's actually a shortage of stuffed sloths, just like everything else.
It's your fault though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So you couldn't get these anywhere in the U.S. So we find a site. And we're like, all right, great. We can order them from China directly. It's going to be like a 2-month wait period, but we got this. So we ordered 1,000. We're like, might as well get ahead of the global sloth shortage, right? They show up, and they were half the price. I'm like, this is great. We should always order overseas. It's going to be much cheaper.
They're filled with fentanyl. Jeez.
And then they show up, and then we open the box, and it's these little baby guys.
Oh,
they're so cute because they're half the size.
I think they're legitimately like a knockoff of the real guys. Like they just got the size wrong.
But it's cute.
So, Mike, what are some pro tips for folks out there coming to Nashville for the first time? What's some rookie mistakes that you've seen?
Look, one, buy the Gatorade before you go out. Just have it in the room.
Always go down to the convenience store whenever you go out to travel. You go as soon as you get in, drop your bags, go to the convenience store, load up on Gatorade and water, and then hit the town. Pro tip:
100%. You got to just have it nearby, just so you have it. Also, like your busy days, don't stay out too late the night before. Nashville's a town that I think they stay open until 3 in the morning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for most people, that's an extra hour that can really do some damage the next day.
It's that last hour.
You got to stay focused and committed. You're there for a reason. Plenty of time for fun, right? I believe last year RecFest had a beer tent too. So, I could be wrong.
I mean, there was some beers being handed out. I don't know if there was
there was a lot of White Claws being handed out. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
maybe one of the vendors were doing it, but there's gonna be plenty of fun at the show too. So don't burn yourself out on Broadway listening to "Sweet Child of Mine" at every bar you go to.
Yeah.
Like, stay focused, get to the show, enjoy it, see Joel tear it up, and then we'll get out there. There's plenty of great parties too, right? So I'm gonna be
Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about those.
My favorite vendor that's going down. One of my favorite vendors, actually, both of them are having parties. We got Qualify, right? They're hanging out
we're having
on a
them
boat.
on later.
And then I got Job Pixel, who's doing a little
Let's do it.
Little thing. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be amazing.
Good time. So we love it. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Mike. And Mike, I will see you in Vegas. We got some things to take care of.
Yeah, we're gonna get down to business.
There's some vermin that needs to be
cleaning
drunk.
shoes.
I want to. We're gonna be stickered ponchos and cleaning shoes in Vegas. That's exactly.
So much to look forward to.
The good thing about Vegas is you don't need ponchos because no one goes outside. You don't go outside in Vegas. You kind of just weave it. So listen, guys, have a great time at RecFest. Big shout out to Erin. Let's give a little shout out. And anyone out there not familiar, Erin is the premier employee referral and internal mobility software platform. Erin increases employee referral hires for non-desk and corporate employees by 5x. And more importantly, decreases turnover by 50%. Which one's more important? We'll debate that. You can also check out ERIN 5.0 with new features designed to make finding the right job instantaneous. Submitting a referral is as simple as sending a text, chat, smoke signal, Slack, whatever, and deliver the success metrics you need to operate your world-class employee referral program. So check out ERIN if you want to take your employee retention and referrals to the next level. And guess what? We have sloth swag.
You can do it.
And we have a ton of stuff because Joel's putting stickers on them right now. And if you want some, drop a purple square in your chat and we'll message you purple square for all the info so you get a little sloth on your own. So big shout out to Mike and the ERIN crew. We love you guys. Thank you for all of your support. And let's get on with the show.
What's up, guys? Recruiting 100. So I got 100 now, 95 seconds to get through what I got to say today. So today we're talking compensation, inspired a little bit by one of our hosts, Joel. I think I saw on Instagram posts about compensation and candidates the other day. I come from the agency recruiter background, and so I do things maybe a little bit differently, right? We can't ask what people are currently making. Right. So it's like, what do we do? How do we make sure with compensation that we're not getting the runaround for candidates? Right? How many times have they said one thing or, yeah, I'm in line at the end of the offer stage? Things go a little bit, take a little bit of a left turn, right? They ask for a little bit more. It's a little bit different, right? So we want to prevent that as recruiters as much as possible. You don't want to invest time in submitting them over, getting interviews, all that, only to change in the last minute, right? So when you first talk to a candidate, really, you can lay out some details, but really you have to ask, what's your ideal compensation? What are you thinking to make a move, right, to your next jump? And this could be an internal promotion. This could be to go to another company, right? You just want to kind of get an idea. And they might give you a little bit of a runaround, but it's critical to kind of hold your ground and get clarity so you avoid these issues down the road. It's like, hey, I have no problem giving you the compensation range or letting you know if it's in, if it's in line. I just don't want to waste your time, especially with a phone call, right? If it's not going to match up, because a lot of times candidates just haven't really thought through what exactly it'll take. So they're just trying to, again, talking to different recruiters, applying to different jobs. So you want to be, you either want to say, yes, that's in line with the range of the role, or this is a little bit low. It sounds like you might not be interested, right? And that way you can kind of speed through. So again, set expectations early. It keeps the process smoother. You're going to avoid a lot of disruption down the line in the interview process. So, as you get, excuse me, are there exceptions? Sure. If you're a little bit more, experienced recruiter, the industry, the skill set, you have it really down, maybe you can kind of go with your gut a little bit more, but on best practice, that's the way to go. You want to stay firm, stay clear, and save yourself and clients time. That's what I got, y'all. What do you think?
I think someone got a mute.
I was muted.
No, it wasn't you.
That wasn't me. My mic was down.
Yeah. No, we got someone cooking up in the kitchen back there.
Hey, I stayed focused.
Look, I'm with you on this. Look, I actually am big on, and I'm from agency too. I'm just from like the agency I was at was RPO originally. So the mentality was probably closer to internal. I would always ask, what are you targeting? But a lot of times, even in messaging, I'm giving them a range so they can either count themselves in or out. And then I'm always putting a contingency in there and saying, look, there is some wiggle room here. If you are absolutely a fit for the position, to kind of give that option as well. But I'm all about just not wasting time.
Yeah.
And I get where the old school mentality of, hey, don't ever give her the range or like you lose negotiating power. In my mind, at the beginning, you're not negotiating. You're just actually starting a conversation, and you're both going to learn. You're going to learn about the position. They're going to learn about the company. You're going to learn about the candidate. The end of the process is where negotiating comes in. So I think if you think of negotiations at the beginning, that's silly because it's like you don't know the candidate doesn't know you. And so that's my mentality.
Yeah, I would also add, like, from a candidate perspective, it's always great to have, like, the more transparency you have from the beginning, the better. Again, it's you're not wasting people's time, but it's also, I think, from a employer standpoint, it builds trust early in the process, right? And so if you're able to bring that up within the in the first interview and say, oh, the range is this, would you be comfortable with that? People are going to be honest. At least that's what I think for the most part. If the range is within reason. If it's not like a $200,000 spread, I think those are ridiculous. But if it's like
the Netflix spread, that's what we call
it. Yeah, exactly. If it's like a 50K spread, I think that's fine. And if you're able to say, oh, they're really looking to pay someone in the upper range or the lower range, like, even better if you can provide those types of details.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to managing expectations on all sides, and that's the way I approach recruiting. I am a full desk agency recruiter, NHP Talent Group, shout out over here. And the way we operate is there's going to be a salary range in the job description. And I have never, ever met a candidate that said, you know what, I want the lower end of that salary range. But what I do is during those conversations, I say, listen, I'm just going to level set you here. We have a range there, and that's based on experience. It's based on how well you do in the interviews. And listen, different jobs, different pay. It's up to you when you negotiate. It's up to the company what they want to offer within that range. But we're going to manage expectations. If you're way over the range, I'm going to tell you that now. If you're slightly over that range, I'm going to say, listen, that's up for negotiation, but I'm going to let you know that they have a salary band and they do their best to stick to it. Now, with that being said, I'm looking for two numbers here. I'm looking for a nice to have and a need to have. I'm not going to hold you to this. I'm not going to pigeonhole you, but let's get on the same page right here in this first conversation. I understand that you need to interview with the team. You need to understand, but this is a do not pass go, do not collect $200 moment where I am not going to present you unless we are aligned on compensation. Never, ever, ever.
But Brian Hayes hit the nail on the head with the kind of how to talk about it. If it's 5 to 10K below, we shouldn't kind of talk about it. Right? That's agency. That's my Aerotech training through and through right there. It's a great point. And I have no problem giving the range in the messaging and the back and forth. Absolutely. It's kind of more the order of operations, right? And give yourself a chance.
I don't want to waste your time, right? I don't want you to waste my time. Let's make sure, and especially senior level candidates, like really with senior level candidates in my experience, I do it via email. And I would say almost all of them they want to be mindful of their time also, Clark, right? Exactly. It's like, hey, there's a big difference between 2 and 250. We're not going to go to 250. All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm only looking for opportunities. Great. Thank you. Bye. Move on.
You'd be surprised at how much your interactions will improve with just kind of that direct, kind of a blunt approach.
Dude, people respect that. Sorry, Danielle.
I would also add, the other thing is the other components of the salary, right? Like, it's not just about the number, it's about the other benefits that you could ask for.
Like, and I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And ERIN slippers.
Uggs.
Ugg slippers. Yeah, no, I think to that point, I don't know if there's any resources out there for candidates. But I've always thought about this idea of like compiling a list of potential benefits you could ask for that aren't salary, that aren't
Right.
monetary compensation.
Well, I mean, we'll close it off here in a minute because we got to jump in a minute here. But like, Clark, let's talk a quick bit about like healthcare, right? How much a company is going to contribute to your healthcare?
Huge.
If they're going to contribute to your 401k, those are monetary numbers that add into total comp.
It's huge, and yeah, Danielle, it's a great point, and that's one of the things I do include even up right away. If there's a bonus, like I'll throw in the bonus, I'll throw in what the healthcare is or anything else, maybe because then I know the base it could change that answer actually pretty significantly. We had a situation earlier this year where a candidate got an offer and he didn't calculate what his current healthcare was with the fully 100% paid that our client was offering. It was a $10,000 difference. And that's across the board. So finding that stuff out early on in the process, and to Joel's point, you don't have to negotiate early, but you have to have the puzzle pieces early in the process,
and then
they can come together at the end.
And then this is the part that I think most people forget on both sides. You got to keep revisiting salary after each conversation. Like you interview, revisit the salary. Hey, are we still on the same page? Because they might learn something about the position. Maybe you learn something about the candidate that wasn't on the resume. You got to revisit, because the only way I can see lowball offers and like these like misalignment is if that conversation is just at the beginning and then you're like, all right, we've had that conversation, and then you don't have it again. You got to keep on having the conversation. It's what do they say? Early and often. Yeah. Early and often with it.
And as a recruiter, tell the candidate, like, it's okay to have an evolving process to change your mind. Like, I get it. As you go through this, things might change. That's all right. I just need you to be transparent with me, right? Where, to some of the comments, it's definitely not making it a me versus you. We're the matchmakers, right? Even internal, you're still a little bit kind of, a little bit more obviously on the side of the client, a lot more, but it's still just matchmaker. Like, I just need transparency throughout the process, especially for an agency recruiter, because then you can kind of keep and evolve with the process and with the candidate as they're thinking through, wow, this job is a lot more than the job description was, laid out to be, or for this job, I actually think the compensation is fair versus my initial thought. So yeah, I think it's a great point, Joel.
Sweet. All right. Well, it's awesome. Well, Clark, any other hot takes you want to drop on us before we keep on trucking?
Not much. I would say have fun.
To wait till next week.
And then wait till next week. We'll have some more on the Hot 100, I guess we're calling now. Check out Digital Recruiter Podcast. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Clark Wilcox, with 2 L's in Wilcox. That's all I got, y'all.
Clark
okay.
Wilcox in the house.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Clark. Let's keep it moving.
Hearing from wow, what beautiful guests we have on today.
Nice to meet you, Danielle.
You too. Nice to meet you, and welcome back, James. We had you on last week. If I think it was, I get my weeks confused. Oh,
yep, I'm mute.
Are you muted?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll go into the mute corner now.
It's okay. You could
I was really excited. I can tell. And then I was muted. Oh, well.
It happens to the best of us. Listen,
True.
This is a very exciting show. Welcome to the party. So excited for you both this week. It's a big week out here. You're traveling, you're hustling, bustling, you're making content. So I want to hear from both of you really quickly. What's your game plan going into this conference? Let's start with you, Audra.
Sure. So this is our second year going. James and I also hosted a stage last year, and Adam was actually our keynote opener for the day, which was exciting. We got to meet him, see him do his thing, which is awesome. So we're excited to go back. It was such a fun event. Great people, great venue. I love that there's 4 stages this year instead of 3, so you can really tailor your learning to the whole day. Go to one session here and then one session here and here. It's just going to be massive.
What stage are you going to be at?
So it's EVP, employer brand all day, but it's the Innovate stage on day 2.
Very cool. I love that. Awesome. And what about you, James?
Oh, look, last year was an amazing event at RecFest. It was, I'd done the UK one years ago, and it was such a, look, it's too easy to call it a revolution. It is a very different conference in all the right ways. And so I was thrilled to play a part of this, and I'm thrilled to keep playing a part. It's an open space. It's not stuffy. It's not boring. It's super exciting. It's incredibly For all the conferences that are networking friendly, this is uber friendly. Like, this is super, super exciting. Hang out with everybody you've ever met in the industry space. They want to hang out with you. They want to talk to you. It's incredible. It's really an exciting conference. So I'm thrilled to go again.
It's so exciting. Yeah, it's interesting because employer branding to me is super fascinating. I come from the marketing world and then went into the HR world. So I feel like the intersection of the two is employer brand.
Pretty much.
What are you excited to talk about regarding employer branding at RecFest, or the conversations you're excited to hear about? Like, talk to me about, the topics around employer branding.
Well, I think what's interesting about employer brand, it's so wide and disparate. It can go a lot of different ways. It has a lot of different meanings to people. We're going to talk about how to build EVPs, personal branding, how to activate your brand. There's so many different things to talk about. So I think it's a wide open field.
Yeah, one session I'm looking forward to is Nicole Stevens, who talks about advocacy, because I think that's, with budgets being a little bit lower for a lot of companies, that's going to be one place you can really get the most bang for your buck. And I know she has a really great session planned for advocacy. Also, Brian Adams, I always like watching him talk because it's always really like out of the box and interesting and different. So we'll see what he comes up with for this session this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast.
I love that. Love that. What and in terms of like brands that you're excited to see at RecFest, maybe that are doing employer brands super well, are there any that come to mind? Besides your own clients? No, you can include your own clients.
I don't think of it that way. I think of it as everybody does employer branding their own way, and I'm excited for people to share what they know, what they've learned. It is it's only been around for 30 years. We haven't nailed it down. We haven't figured it out. So everybody is finding little pieces of it and bringing it back to larger groups, saying, "I found this." Like Nicole Stevens, advocacy. This is what I did, and this is what was interesting, and this was challenging, and everybody's going to go, "Oh, that's really interesting," and they're going to take a piece from that and add it to their own kind of toolkit, their own Lego set, so to speak. And that's really how we all learn together.
I love that.
Yeah, I agree too that it's so different for every company. What one company needs is very different. There's not just a one playbook. So it's going to be great to just see all completely different ways of coming at it and what you can do with it.
Yeah, employer branding is so interesting. Wait, let's talk a little bit more about the advocacy piece, because for me, I think a lot of Gen Z, the trends are that we're super big on advocacy and like word of mouth, right? In terms of our purchases, in terms of where we want to work. Do you think that's going to be a conversation at all this coming week at the conference? Just about like Gen Z and like how we tend to work.
Well, that's interesting to think about the different generations. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, I always kind of say that the difference between the generations is somewhat overblown sometimes. I think, I know Gen Z knows they can smell marketing a mile away, and they more importantly, they can smell bad marketing, right? But to say that Gen Z is all about advocacy this is the generation of the influencer. This is the generation of going on TikTok and seeing what do other people do. And so advocacy is changing its definition. It used to be, hey, can we make everybody talk about how great we are? And now it's about, hey, do you follow person XYZ? No, I follow person ABC. And they help me understand what I should be looking for, what I should be thinking about, what I should be considering. They're influencing not just my decision process, but my thought process around it. So advocacy and influencer marketing are going to be hand in hand, especially for that generation. And I think that spreads as the digital channels kind of just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And even old folks like me who are Gen X, I leverage thought leaders and influencers to say, okay, help me direct my approach, direct what I should be looking at and considering to help me understand what I should be doing.
Right. And the process might look a little bit different. We might go to TikTok versus you might go to Instagram or Facebook or, some like Google,
That is a real challenge, I think, with
or
the
Bing.
tools that we often use for advocacy is almost always it's like you put in a post, you ask whoever's in the tool to spit it out, and it's all the same. And again, people see through that now, and it's not working. So I'm so excited to see different ways people come at it to make it more authentic and believable and will actually be more authentic and believable.
Love that. It sounds like this conversation could definitely be on the RecFest stage next year. Just going to say that and put that out there. But before we move on and say goodbye, and then people say hello to you at RecFest, what's something that you think people should know? People going to RecFest should know if it's their first time.
Well, based on the weather.
Yeah, I was going to say a raincoat.
Wellies, I guess the British would say. I think it's going to, I'm hoping it's equivalent to Woodstock 94, where Green Day and Nine Inch Nails got covered in mud. That's what I'm shooting
people
for.
People are just rolling around in mud.
I want people to be throwing mud from the field into the stages.
Yeah, throw it at Joel. He'll be on stage.
Yeah, totally.
I'll do that.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a wide open space. So walk in without preconceived notions. There's no hotel ballroom. There's no set lunch plans. It is super loosey-goosey in all the best ways. So just go in with no expectations and enjoy it. There's so much to see and do.
Love that.
Yeah. And just networking, like you said, there's so many people there. Everyone's so happy and excited to be there. So meet new people, see your old friends, and just build your network for sure.
Yeah, I might be handing out some stickers and T-shirts. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Come find me.
And if you did not pack a poncho, ERIN's got you covered. So that's good.
Nice.
All right. Thank you so much, both of you, and have a blast this week.
Thanks,
Thank you. Take care. Good to see you all.
Thanks, guys.
Now, who can it be now?
Who can it be now? What's up, Paz?
Rocky, what's happening? What's happening, friend? How you guys doing?
Happy day before, 2 days before Wreckfest. I'm so excited.
I'm excited that you're excited. Unfortunately, I will not be attending this year. I'm sitting this one out, but my dude Joel will be there.
Joel will be there. What's up, Joel? I can't wait to see you.
Rocky brings it, and this is not your first Wreckfest.
No. I was there last year, which was the first one here in the U.S. And it's really funny. I was planning on going one in the UK, and it didn't quite work out. So I'm so glad that they brought it to the U.S. And it's an amazing event.
Last year was really incredible, and especially when you think about this was their first event. So kudos to the team there, and guess what? Next year I'm going to put a plug in that maybe the Paz will be hosting a stage next year. Maybe it'll be the Paz stage over there, maybe the Purple Acorn stage, maybe the ERIN stage. We're going to find that one. What are you most excited for about Wreckfest? What are you looking forward to?
You know what? For me, Wreckfest feels a bit like coming home. Like it feels like that time where you get to meet, those of us who have been in TA for a really long time, we just float around and we go to different places, etc. And now, especially in today's virtual world where we're all sitting in our versions of the Women Cave, we don't get to see each other. So I'm really looking forward to, there's a whole list of presentations I've noted that I can't wait to go see. And I'm looking forward just to being with people. And like it's super cash. Like you get to hold conversations with people. You don't have to be wearing something where you're doing like this all day. We might be doing like this because it's raining, but we won't. Yeah, like you're comfortable. And at the same time, you still get the benefit of all this amazing knowledge and this ability to be able to network with people. I can tell you.
That's what it's all about, right? Yeah. It's about meeting those people in real life, forming those friendships and the energies.
And they'll be lifelong friendships if you do it right.
Exactly. So what are your keys to networking in real life? What's one of Rocky Howard's secret tips and tricks?
So do you want to know a secret, Paz?
Secret. I'll keep it.
I'm an introvert. Like no one ever believes that. Stop laughing, Joel. Like I am an introvert who behaves like an extrovert. So I really don't like to network, so to speak. And
you couldn't tell though from the outside. I mean, is it hard for you? Is it really hard for you to? I mean, listen, being an introvert doesn't mean you're not a people person. It just there's other factors there, and you could also be a chameleon in different ways.
Well, here's what I learned, and so I did some deep reflection, and I think the reason why I'm so adverse to networking is because it feels like you have an agenda. But I do realize that I actually like meeting people, and I like learning from people, and I like learning about people. So, like my approach to networking is really to kind of look around and go, like, who are those people who I'm like, I really want to know more about that person. I genuinely and authentically, it's not about diversiology. I don't have some secret list over here of who should be my clients and all of that.
No.
It doesn't work. But I really do spend time, and I'm one of those geeky people who listens to every session I can. So then I'm like going to the person and going, "Oh, you said that. Let's talk about this."
So let's pause on that too, because I pride myself on being. I mean, I'm extroverted, no shock there. But I mean, obviously, there's moments too when like it's a lot of energy to be me. It takes a lot of work, and it's exhausting to other people who are listening to me all day long too. So one thing I'm really mindful of when I'm at these events is to really try to listen more than I talk. And I try, and it takes effort. Can you imagine, Rocky, how much effort it takes me to not talk?
No, I can't.
But not to make it about you, make it about them, and these conversations. You kind of hit the nail on the head too. It's not about selling. It's not about having an agenda. It's forming a relationship. It's being relatable. It's forming those. Listen, people buy from people they like. So it's likability and authenticity. Listen, some people are just unlikable, like Joel. But like some people, and they have to work harder to become likable. But honestly, it really just comes down to being open and honest. And there's no better place than RecFest because it's casual. You're not, as you mentioned before, you're not in a ballroom. You're not, on a convention floor. You're at parties. Well, let me ask you this too. Being an introvert, is it hard for you to go to these events and parties because you feel like you have to, but that's not like your natural comfort zone?
Yeah, like my natural comfort zone is to crawl up at home next to my husband and read a book, right? So my my natural thing, and here's what I know for sure. If I can just introverts, if you can just get past the moment of uncomfortable when you're like, oh my God, I got to go to this party, and just like get past it, because once I get over the threshold, I have so much fun, and I wouldn't want to be any place else. So it's that moment beforehand where you're like, oh my God, I got to do this. And then you walk in and that first person smiles at you. And you
breaks the ice,
and you forget it all. And, like the next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. and you're like, oh my God, I'm tired. Maybe I should go, back to my hotel.
Maybe it's time to go home. Maybe it's time to. So let's talk about what you're talking about. You'll be hosting a Power and Privilege for Progress. A lot of P's in their presentation on the 13th, which is Friday from 3 to 3:30 on the Unplugged stage. Is Joel hosting that, or he's only hosting on Thursday?
Joel, you're not hosting that, are you? I think is Torin going to be up on stage there? I'm finding you, Joel, but I'm not sure who's. I think it's Torin that might be hosting that.
Well, we're gonna get to that. And we'll put it up on the screen there in a moment. Who's hosting? But that doesn't matter. This one's about you. So, Rocky, break it down for us. What is your presentation about? Who should be attending? And just fill us in.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of conversations. This could be a whole episode by itself about DEI and where it's going and all of that type of thing. And really what this is about is how do you create space in more human practices as TA professionals for everyone? And here's the thing. Sometimes white men feel really uncomfortable talking to Black women. Real talk, having a real conversation. I know you don't.
But to pause on that for a second, that took comfort and years of experience, and I've had some incredible, really strong Black women as leaders and bosses to me. So I think I have an unfair advantage there. But it's a tough one because it's not always everyone's comfort zone, and I think that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. So what we're gonna do is I'm so excited to get on a stage with Brian McAfee and Peter Clare, and we're gonna show you what it looks like. You
guys are gonna role play?
Yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna have real talk conversations about, from my perspective as a Black woman, we're gonna come at it from a factual based perspective, and we're gonna talk about how white men can lend some of that privilege to Black women without it being overbearing, without you having to go through all of this tough stuff. And we're going to share some stats as to why it's still important. We want to show you what relationships look like.
These are the critically important. Listen, all these events, right? Like I look at the agendas. Usually I'm podcasting, so I don't go to a lot of the keynotes, but I did have a chance to do that at RecFest, and I've been to some other ones too. And a lot of them, right, they're staying in line with like, we're going to talk about the tech, we're going to talk about diversity, we're going to talk about this, but let's go deeper, right? And I think that's why this conversation is so critical, because you're taking it a step further. And your conversations around radical candor, because I think we need more of these at these events versus these, kind of high level BS, presentations that aren't going deep, that are snooze fests. Let's get into it. If we're going to spend our time to be outside of our office, away from our families, outside of work, let's make this shit count.
Let's make this shit count. And look, first of all, you said stay in line in a conversation with me. Like that never happens, right? And second of all, here's what we found out. So I was on the stage with Rachel Williams and Tara Turk Haynes last year doing a Women King panel. And people were like, oh, they're going to talk about diversity. It was one of the best attended, best liked, most successful sessions of last year's RecFest. And Peter and we're going to deliver again this year. Peter, Brian, and we're not going to leave you hanging. So come hang out with us.
Who else are you looking forward to hearing speak?
Oh my God, I have a whole list. So Anessa Fike and Tara Turk Haynes on the Revolutionary at Work. Joel, I'll be finding you. I know you're doing some intro there. I think
he's doing stand-up and harmonica guitar all at the same time. Joel's doing a talent show. It's gonna be called the Talentless Show. It's gonna be amazing.
I love it. Nazinga Shaw is going to be there talking about, pro-level inclusion.
Pro-level inclusion. What does that mean?
Yeah, she's talking about promoting pro-level inclusion. And I think it's aligned with employer brand. Paige Elliott is going to do the power of diverse stories in employer branding. Robin Schooling is going to do humanity and hiring, empathy and accessibility. Tamika Allen, breaking barriers, building bridges, crafting inclusive hiring process for neurodivergent. John Valentino is going to be talking about streamlining talent acquisition. Love John. And my other John Graham, little bro John Graham, is going to be forget the crystal ball. We have a vision for the future of recruitment marketing. Like I got a whole list over here, y'all. Can I tell you
something? What I love about RecFest? It's the anti-SHRM, and that's a hot take right there. You know what? And not so much the SHRM event. I thought the event was the expo and everything. But what SHRM is doing right now, you know what? This is the modern age of recruiting and talent and HR. So it's time for us to get into 2024, have real conversations, and talk about some real shit here, and come together as a community that's going to make a difference and make a change. And that's what's happening at RecFest with these panels and conversations.
I took this summer off, and I came back for a few minutes to do a post. I'm trying to grab it. If I can grab it, I'll drop the link in the chat. I think it is such a travesty that the organization, the global organization that is supposed to be leading the way for HR professionals is telling HR professionals, oh, well, you know what? Like, if this shit is too hard, you could just drop the E. It's not that important. And so I'm dropping my SHRM membership. I'm over it. I'm done.
I just unsubscribed from those daily emails I got. I'm like,
yeah. I'd long since done that. Like, we're not doing it.
Take the politics out. Let's focus on the people, right? And I think that's really what it's all about. Take politics out of it and do what's right for your employees, do what's right for your company. And listen, I'm going to make another bold statement here. I think it's okay for a private company to have values that they believe in. You may not agree with all their values, right? But I think it's okay in this country to have your values. That's just what this country is about. But be clear about them. And, it's about the repercussions as well. If you want to stand your ground on something, be ready for the response.
Absolutely. And
works both ways.
Yeah. And I live in a country purposely where we can have an opinion. But when you have power and privilege, going back to our session on Thursday, you have to use it responsibly. And I feel like SHRM is catering to corporate sponsorship and dollars instead of their mission of really kind of teaching practitioners and helping practitioners be ethical in terms of their consideration.
We may not agree on what you're saying, but we all agree on free speech, right? And I think that once we kind of align on that, like, I may hate what you're saying, but I will fight for your right to say that. I mean, it's a tough position to be in here. But let's end on a high note. What are some of Rocky's pro tips for surviving Nashville or any kind of work trip?
Yeah, you know what? Look, first of all, make sure you got a water bottle. Let's do the practical stuff because I'm a practical girl. Ditch the cute shoes, y'all. It ain't fun. Like, ditch the cute shoes.
Be prepared. Look at the weather forecast. Dress accordingly.
Yes, dress accordingly. Ditch the cute shoes. Don't wear new shoes here. This is not the time. Keep us.
You're in a field. You're in a field, a grass field, folks. It's a park with mediocre drainage. Just be mindful of that.
Exactly. And here's what I remember too: the lunch trucks get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So keep a snack in your pocket, right?
That's a good pro tip. And go off times go a little earlier, go a little bit late, so you can have your snacks in between, so you're not waiting there. But here's another one too. You mentioned water too. Like they had water stations there, which were great. I remember that also. But also, a lot of vendors give out water bottles. So if you forgot, it's a great giveaway. I have so many water bottles from conferences. Usually I leave them in the hotel, but the other ones end up in my. I'm gonna take a picture for you guys soon of our shelf of water bottle swag.
I keep them, but I tell you, I'm a water snob, so I have a Brita one that has the filter, so that even when you're drinking the park water, it tastes okay.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. So, Rocky, give us another plug. What time, where, when are you speaking at RecFest?
We will be on stage Thursday afternoon, I believe 3 p.m. Join Brian Fink and Peter Clare and myself. And let's come have a conversation, a real talk conversation, and let's have some fun together too. Because
let's have some fun.
That's the key to all of this.
We'll have safe travels out to RecFest. Rocky, we'll catch up afterwards. It's always a pleasure seeing you. Thank you so much. Where can folks connect? Where could they learn more?
Oh, you know what? Hit me up on LinkedIn. There's only one Rocky with an I. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Follow the Diversiology page. Come find me at RecFest. I've got a great inclusive talent acquisition toolkit to give to you. Danielle, Joel, Paz, I appreciate you all. Thanks for having me.
The one and only Rocky Howard. Thank you so much. Safe travels out there. Let's keep the show going. Over to my buddy Joel. Let's keep it moving.
Is that a phone? What is up? We got Omar Khatib in the house. Omar from Job Pixel. Why don't you give us a rundown on what Job Pixel is before we start? Are you able to hear me? You muted.
Can you hear me now? Good.
I can hear you, man.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Right. Why don't you give us a lowdown on Job Pixel?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Omar. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Job Pixel. We think of us like TikTok for the enterprise. We allow larger organizations like Cognizant, Ronstadt, Boston Medical Center, and others to collect short-form video content and images officially as of yesterday from their employees, and then easily use that video content and image content in job descriptions, social media, employer branding, and everything in between.
Dude, I love that. TikTok for the enterprise. That is amazing. Well, we're gonna be having a little party action together. So why don't you what are you gonna be up to at RecFest? Like where's the party gonna be at? What are we gonna be doing?
Absolutely. So the first part of day one, actually, me and Chad Soash are going to be on stage at 2:15 on the Inspire stage, talking about the world of TikTok and video and recruitment marketing. So if you all want to listen to a really fun discussion, please come to the Inspire stage at 2:15 on day one. You'll enjoy it. And then that night, we are going to be rocking the Riviera. So we have a really large event that we're hosting at Redneck Riviera on Broadway Street between Job Pixel, Hire Clicks, and Great People. Those are some of our fantastic partners. Great People is one of just such an amazing ATS and CRM platform and career pages. And then Hire Clicks is a fantastic agency that we're partnered with as well. Super excited. A lot of fantastic folks are going to be there. Joel is going to be there, obviously.
That's right. We'll be hosting. We're going to be, I know I'm going to be doing some video content as well. Hopefully catching people at their very best at like 10 p.m. That's what I'm going for. And guys, look, you can join the wait list here too. We got a QR code on the screen. So get on the wait list. My guess is that wait list is overflowing, but I would say get in there, do it. Let me ask you this: as far as the location, why the Redneck Riviera? Like, what is special about this place?
3 floors, has a rooftop, great music, great drinks. What more can you ask for?
I love that, man.
Yeah, we looked at a lot of places, and it just sounded like the best place ever.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, Omar always throws like the coolest parties. Throwback to Vegas, where we had the ice bar. That was pretty epic. What so you're speaking on that night, you're hosting a party. What else are you excited about? Like what are you really paying attention to as far as like speakers, events, other topics as well?
Absolutely. Well, one is I want to see how the economy is shaping up based on what we're going to hear from a lot of those talent acquisition leaders and employer branding leaders. Are they still feeling the pinch? Are things better than last year? That's a big, big priority for me personally and us as a business as well, to see how the pulse on the market is. As a business, we're doing fantastic, but we wanted to see how other organizations are doing. So learning about that a little bit more. Number two is going to be trends, especially with AI taking over. How is that affecting everyone? And then third is the addition, LinkedIn adding video officially to most people. You and I, Joel, have had the access to this for a while now, checking out their video capability when it was still in beta. But now seeing it out in the wild and lots of people using it, I'm really excited what the impact of that looks like, and how excited are people about utilizing that specific avenue or medium to boost their brand, their content, etc. Because it seems like LinkedIn is pushing it out a lot. There's a lot of views and a lot of likes on those videos. So super excited to see what people are feeling about that, and are people in our industry going to be eating that up or not?
I think what's crazy is last year, I remember I did a presentation on like the power of video. I remember you were like front and center there and like really supporting and cheering me on. But since then, I mean, you've landed some massive clients. I've seen some of the videos that your clients are pushing out. One video tip, because video is hot right now. I know Danielle's gone viral like 10 times this week. But what is your tip? Like, what are you seeing your clients doing on video that is just, changing the game for them?
Short and funny. That's it. Everything else doesn't matter. That's all that matters, really. A lot of people think that, oh, I have to stuff it with so much information, etc. Keep it short and keep it funny. Funny keeps the attention, short gets to the point. That's all you need to do to have a video that really hits all the specific thing. I've seen Danielle's videos. They're really fantastic. Good work. So I just, that's my belief. And I think that's like the best advice that we give to all of our clients, and they have a really successful time. Cognizant, for example, they've created a video on JobPixel about a walkthrough with one of their offices. They kept it funny and light. They got 2,000 likes and 250,000, 300,000 views, I believe, on LinkedIn, just through one of the videos they created on JobPixel. And they just kept it short, funny, and straight to the point.
Love that. Well, guys, if you want to get on the wait list for the event, we got the QR code there to get in. And Omar, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just type in Omar Khatib, OMAR KHATEEB, or just Omar JobPixel. I'm sure you'll find me. Happy to connect. Would love to chat with everybody and connect. And I see one of my favorite people here, Serge Boudreau. Hello, Serge.
Serge in the house.
Yeah.
Legend. I love it. Well, we got Adam. I love Adam Posner. That's Adam. The tip for you for your videos: short and sweet. Okay, that's what I'm. Short and funny. Well, guys, look. If you're at RecFest, if you're at RecFest, come see Omar. I highly recommend connecting with Omar. Go hear what he has to say on stage. And again, scan the QR code. Get on the wait list for this party. It is going to be amazing. Omar, we'll see you soon, and we'll be rolling on to the next part of the show here.
Awesome. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate you having me.
See you, man.
Thanks.
Yeah,
guys.
we'll talk.
Oh, welcome. Welcome, Des. Prentice. What a name.
I appreciate it. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Wow, that's a really cute shirt. Can we see that shirt
Yeah,
fully?
absolutely.
Oh wow. What a cute logo. I love that. All right, well, welcome. Why don't you tell everyone about a little bit about you and what you're working on, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Des. I'm the go-to-market lead for a company called Qualify, and our mission is to help organizations discover talent faster and hire them smarter. So we are a asynchronous phone screening solution for the
Ooh.
frontline workers.
Phone screening. Well, I hear that you guys are throwing an absolute rager and the talk of the town at Wreckfest. I honestly would come just for this party. But I have a prior engagement for a friend. But yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, how unfortunate. We wish you could join us, but we are throwing a boat party down to Cumberland on Thursday night. It's '90s theme because our theme is
Wow.
take the phone the '90s call. They want their phone screening back because the old way of doing it won't cut it anymore in the market that we currently live in. So we want to have some. There'll be food, there'll be drinks, there'll be music. Obviously '90s themed the whole way through.
Oh, I love that. Well, Adam and Joel love to make fun of how young I am, but I was actually born in the 90s. So I'm a 90s kid. I'm not a 2000s kid. I think it's weird when I meet people and they were born after 2000. Just even though I was only born two years before. So wait, where did this idea come from to do a boat party?
Yeah, so I'm sure you know Evan White. So we working with him on.
Yeah,
We
I
always
do.
want to try to spice up what we
Once
want
or
to
twice.
do. Yeah, right. We always want to spice up what we do when it comes to different events, and so as a smaller team, we want to try to make our impact as large as possible. And we thought, what better way than to roll down the river, downtown Nashville with everybody. So we
A
wanted to make.
100%. Fun fact about me that no one asked to hear, but I'm just going to share it anyway, is that I got my boating license before my driver's license.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could be manning that boat if I were there, but
We would.
I
We need a good captain.
luckily
So
won't be.
we'd love to have you down for sure.
A
What
100%. Well, there's always next year.
Yeah. What type of boats are you used to driving?
Like speedboats.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. No sailing here, but maybe one day. Yeah. How many people are you expecting for this party? What's
Wait,
going to be the setup to bring me in? Like
yeah,
because I won't be there, so I need a bit of a picture.
absolutely.
What are you wearing? Like I need to hear more.
So for the event itself, Wreckfest, we have like 90 shorts we're wearing, bucket hats, flip up sunglasses, things like that. But on the boat right now, we have a 40 RSVP, so it's gonna be a pretty good sized boat. We'll have Hattie B's hot chicken as part of the menu. So
Ooh,
we want to bring everybody that true Nashville flavor when they come have a good time.
my mouth is
Um,
watering.
There'll also be a bunch of like different '90s props. We have big gold chains you can put on. We have all those kind of things to bring everybody back to the '90s. I'll
Wow.
probably be wearing some sort of overalls with some sort of bucket hat and a t-shirt or something like
I
that.
love oh my gosh, that's incredible. You're gonna rock it. You're gonna pull it off. I feel like if I came to this party, I would probably be wearing something inspired by like Amanda Bynes, like
Okay.
circa, 19 like 2000 or whatever it
Does
was
that mean you
when she had the Amanda show.
were you a Nickelodeon kid then?
I was. I was. Yeah. It honestly best decade ever.
Nickelodeon had the goods for sure.
Yeah. Will you
Absolutely.
be having any Nickelodeon kids at this party?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. We were trying
Okay.
to get a couple
Well,
people on the phone, but
Keenan
budgets.
couldn't come, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. We couldn't get Nick Cannon. He couldn't make it. So
Oh, he's too busy having kids, so
yeah.
it makes sense. I love that. All right, cool. So, for people who maybe have never been to a boat party, what should they know?
Yeah, one thing I would say is the weather says it's not going to be too warm, so don't worry about wearing shorts or anything like that. You can wear pants. Also, everything's better on the water. So even if you don't want to eat or have any drinks, if you're just standing around and taking in the scenery, is worth it because when you're next to a body of water, everything kind of goes away. So you'll get great views of the city. We'll drive past Nissan Stadium. We'll drive past the Batman building. So you'll get great.
Oh,
If
that's
anything,
so
you'll get
cool.
great pics for your Facebook and your Instagram.
Oh, 100%. It's all for the photos. If you didn't take a photo, it didn't happen.
It happened, right?
And like
Exactly.
phone eats first too. So
Always,
some
always.
great. I can't wait to see the content from this boat party. To be honest, I think that a lot of brands miss out on, I wrote a post the other week about this. A lot of brands miss out on like capturing the moments at a conference, and you know, your brand should live past and live beyond the moment that you activated, which is at a conference. And so I'm excited to see what content comes out of this, and what you guys end up doing and sharing with the world. So I'm excited, looking forward to that. What are you most looking forward to from this RecFest situation that's going to be happening the next few days?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing we're really looking forward to doing is hearing the voice of the recruiters. Kind of what are you going through in your day to day? What's keeping you from being as great as you want to be in your role? And that's kind of how we like to build Qualify. We like to listen to the people that are in the trenches, the practitioners that are actively doing the role and figuring out, hey, what's keeping you from finding those great candidates and putting them into great positions? And we really want to learn from there so we can take that and put it into the platform.
And if we're talking about more specifically, like what types of recruiters and like what types of challenges do you feel like are the people that you want to talk to or that should talk to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So where we find Qualify works the best is for those recruiters who are hiring roles that tend to lean towards generating revenue for the organization, not necessarily just in sales, but if you think when you walk into your chiropractic office or you walk into a doctor's office, that front desk person does help make that candidate feel comfortable. They might have to get them booked on their next meeting. Those people who have to interact with your customers day in and day out, but you have to hire a lot of them just by the nature of the beast. Those are where Qualify does its best, because we allow you to connect with that candidate, align with them on what's expected from them in the role, but also get to learn about them, but you get to do it on their own time. So candidates really enjoy it that way. So those are the types of recruiters we really want.
Love it. Oh, so succinct. Makes sense. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Des. I hope you have a great time. I can't wait to see pics and videos of this party, your outfit. I mean, it's going to be epic. And yeah, enjoy.
We appreciate it. Have a great one. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. But before we check in on the HR weather, I have to admit I have some serious FOMO about missing RecFest in Nashville. So I figured we'd check what the real weather in Nashville is going to be. I know we talked a little bit about it, but let's make it official here. So on Thursday, it's going to be 24 degrees Celsius. So for my American friends, that's 75 degrees Fahrenheit, Adam. But here's the kicker. I have some good news, some bad news. The weather's okay at 24 degrees, but at 75 degrees, I should say. But there is chance of scattered showers in the afternoon. So if you haven't packed yet, definitely pack your muddy boots, pack your umbrellas. Definitely recommend. And the thing is, for Friday, it's almost identical, except there's going to be scattered thunderstorms, which might be electrifying. You never know. But anyways, let's jump into what. Yeah, please do.
It's not 75% chance of rain. What it means is that 75% of that general area is going to get covered by rain. I call BS on that, because then you're basically saying it's 100% chance to 75% chance that land is going to get covered by rain, which is impossible to predict.
So
Finkel is Einhorn.
Mike
Einhorn is Finkel. It doesn't make sense.
No, Mike is completely right. That's
What?
actually how it works. And as a real weatherman, I know that for a fact. But I was actually checking what the weather is going to be at Bicentennial Park.
I call BS.
And bad news.
Okay,
There's
actually
actually going to be rain. So definitely, you got to pack up. You got to be ready for it completely. But now, can I jump into my HR weather?
Bye for now.
Yep.
So I want you to think of conference, as we're heading into conference season, I want you to think about conference season as an opportunity for you to really make some advancement in your career. So think about, you're going to meet your LinkedIn besties in person. You get to network with thought leaders and folks that you work directly with. Also, it's the opportunity to kind of just have fun, just enjoy the folks that you're dealing with. And also, you can actually learn new things that you can bring back to your day-to-day job. Conferences is really where you activate your online relationships. So think about your LinkedIn connections, your TikTok followers, people that you've had team or Zoom calls with. This is the place where it all becomes real. And to give you an example, actually, I met Adam and Joel last year at RecFest for the first time in person. And the other factor, so I no, you didn't. I was really disappointed. And like another fact is I met my current CEO at a conference earlier this year that actually led to the role that I have now. So that's where it's really important for you to look at conference, and you should try to attend at least once a year, especially as a practitioner. I think there's a ton of value behind it. But there's a few rules, and I know we've talked a little bit about the rules before. Rocky mentioned that you should definitely not have the cute shoes. I agree. Wear comfy shoes. And for RecFest, you should probably have like gum rubber boots. If I don't know if that's a Canadian thing, but definitely muddy boots that you should be wearing. Um, don't be that creep. Don't try to sleep with your colleagues. I know every year there's someone that just creeps out and tries to hit on everyone there. Don't be that person, Joel. I'm talking to you. And
the play. Joel is not a creep. Joel is never. No, seriously. Joel is
Joel
not
doesn't
a
have
creep.
colleagues.
I'm kidding.
Joel is creepless.
Only
sometimes.
No, he
Wow.
is not a creep. I completely agree. He has hit on me though, and it's made me really
Well, that's a
uncomfortable.
different
You're the weatherman. What else am I supposed to do?
I
Come
wish
on.
he would.
I'm
The other piece of advice: don't get too wasted. There's a ton of parties, and they're great, right? Like I did the boat last year, and it was amazing. But don't get wasted. It's not a frat party. Don't
No.
do anything that you're going to
Isn't
regret.
alcohol stronger on boats?
Yeah.
It is way stronger. And I'll tell you, the Hattie chicken last year was fantastic.
So I had it too.
quite jealous. I'm not going
Oh,
to
I
be
want
about
some
it.
Pro
chicken.
tip is 1 glass of water for every drink and every shot. So alternate. I
Mm.
learned that from Bill Murray. Definitely take that to heart at conferences. I try to do it. Even a seltzer or club soda with a lemon or lime in it, no one knows you're not drinking, works well.
I do want to say this too. Like, I really appreciate what you said, Serge. I know we don't always
That Joel's a creep.
agree on things.
You agree
Yes,
that Joel's
that.
a creep?
We
No,
all agree.
never. No,
Not with women, but just in
Joel
general.
Joel and I are besties.
That's right.
No, but you know, to your point, I'm going to Inbound next week.
Okay.
And I was talking to my friend Ariel Berlinski, shout out again. And we're really just trying to plan from a content standpoint, because we're both content creators and influencers, what types of content we're gonna create there. And one of the really important points is, and I guess content themes is like how conferences can enhance your career and can really move the needle. Because if you think about it, in your early career, you're not always going to be the one that's chosen to go to a conference, right?
I agree.
And at Transform earlier this year, I met a Gen Zer who sent himself to a conference and then told his boss that he was going to this conference, and then they refunded him and reimbursed him for his ticket because they were also going. But to have that sort of like chutzpah to send yourself to a conference, I think is really incredible. And I want to see more young people do that. But to your point again, like it might be the only conference you go to all year. And so really taking the time to think about, how do I want to leverage this in the future? And even if you don't necessarily know, maybe having an idea of where you want to go and sharing that with people. Like I say this all the time, it's important to share your goals and dreams with other people, especially who are farther along in your career, who you're probably going to meet at these conferences, because none of us succeed alone.
I just don't want to be a creep. So I tell people that.
That's cool.
Well, Joel, I think you said it a couple of times. Like, obviously, you have a massive following, but it all really came to life when you started going to conference, right? Like last year, RecFest, you met a lot of folks. You built those relationships at another level than just online. And that's where it's really critical. But a lot of people are, especially younger folks and Danielle, are a little bit nervous about going to a conference. Like, okay, I'm going to have to network. I'm going to have this personality. Any advice for them as far as, okay, they're going to conference the first time ever. What should they do?
I mean, first off, I would just say take the pressure off yourself. Like, I know I just said, like, go in with, intention of sharing your goals and dreams. But I think like being open-minded as far as like where relationships can take you. And I really like what Rocky said before of just focusing on getting to know people and showing and being authentic and showing up as your full self. I think I really am able to do that at conferences. And I think that comes from a place of knowing yourself. And that really, I mean, not to, this isn't a self-help podcast, but
Definitely
I think it's really about that and like being confident in like who you are and your ability to show up and like be authentic.
Should you really be your real self? There's always that argument, right? Because there's a lot of
you're getting about
what
60% of me. You're getting about 60% of me, maybe 70% after hours. But you keep a little bit back.
What better place to be like a fuller version of yourself than at a conference where no one knows you?
Ooh.
But they might, right? A lot of people do know
like
you when you go to conference.
Well, I think that I have a lot of followers, right? But you don't need a lot of followers for people to know who you are online.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people are going to know you. They're going to have had that reputation. So I think to Danielle's point, I think not trying to sell people is huge. Trying to one of my mentors, a guy called Marcus Sawyer, who is an absolute legend. He said, this is after Transform. He said one of the things that he likes to do is if he sees two people that don't know each other and you're in a circle, do the introduction.
Always.
And then suddenly I was like, oh wow, like maybe talking less, adding, making introductions, and then. To your point, Serge, as well, like I think anytime you're drinking or you're letting a little bit loose, just being mindful, like you're still going to be, it's still your brand. Like your brand isn't something that's just online. It's in the things that you say, the interactions that you have with people. And so that's where I think like the being yourself thing, I just think you got to be cognizant of, like what you're saying and like, is it in line with the other things that I'm saying? And, that's huge. And at the end of the day, I do think that pressure, like not having that pressure and just wanting to connect with people and being authentic is huge. And that's what people are going to be left with. And so if you're like, hey, love people and be kind, and then people meet you and you're like, don't even want to talk to them, that they're going to remember that. They're going to remember you like didn't want to talk to them and you were cold. They're not going to remember like your post that got 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
So
I had that experience with Adam.
Right,
when I met him in person.
right. You hit the nail on the head, right? Your reputation is what people say behind your back, and you want to leave people with a good impression. Who you show up online, that should replicate offline. Be authentic, be yourself. Represent who you are. Mind your manners. Be a good human. All that good stuff. So let's keep the show moving. Serge, I want to thank you so much for your time. And Serge, thank you. We appreciate the weather as always, and we'll see you out there, Serge.
See ya. 2 weeks at HR Tech. I'll see you there.
See you in Vegas, buddy.
Wait, I've got to turn my video on, don't I?
Hey, Liz. Hello. Welcome to the HR Morning Show. How you doing?
Good, thanks, Adam. And yourself?
Doing all right.
Laughing.
That's a goal. What was funny? We need to do a little bit of instant feedback here, and maybe we need to recalibrate. What did you find amusing?
Pressure now because I think it's been over the weatherman thing that just had me giggling to start with anyway. And Adam, you're certainly no creep. You're all good.
Oh, thank you. That means you just haven't gotten to know me well enough yet. But Dr. Liz, where on this fine planet are we speaking to you today?
I am in Colorado. Can't you tell from my accent?
That is a native. It's almost like watching every Nicole Kidman film. It's absolutely incredible. She's just a genius. How did you end up in Colorado?
Because I developed a tech for inclusion, and Australia's only about this big in terms of our population, and the US obviously is a much bigger market. So that's why I'm here.
Well, welcome. Well, why don't we do a proper introduction? Tell everyone on who you are and what you do best.
Well, I'm Dr. Liz, and I'm all about behavioral science and change in organizations, and I specialize in inclusion.
That is fantastic. And you're heading out to RecFest, I hear.
I'm actually not making it to
What?
No, I'm not.
I'm ill-informed.
HR tech and no, sorry, not HR tech.
What? I'm not going to see you in Vegas?
Transform, So I've done a lot of Vegas this year already.
I know it's so much Vegas. It's so funny. I was kidding around with my wife the other day. So prior to going to Las Vegas in the last 12 months, which I've been for, I went with my buddies to see U2 at the Sphere, which was great. Was at Transform, and I'm heading out there in 2 weeks. I haven't been to Vegas in 10 years, and I'll be honest with you, it's a great place. It's fun, but it becomes a lot.
It's a lot. Yes, I agree.
So let's get into it. What are you passionate about these days on the work front? What's really getting you excited and things that you want to discuss?
Well, certainly inclusion. In fact, it was really interesting listening to your last conversation about almost the advice to people on how to leverage the experience of the conference for their careers, particularly those early career. And it's natural we think that the advice is about giving it to people that need to get themselves included or have their needs met. But in fact, I'm always looking at it from the flip side. How can I better include someone that is new in their career, first time conference event attender, all that kind of stuff? Like, how can we create a better experience for everybody? And so obviously not just in conferences in terms of what I do for work, but contextually, that's what had my head going while you guys were talking.
Well, let's dig into that. Let's talk a little bit about what historically companies are doing well on the inclusion front and what they could do better.
They're trying. That's what they're doing well.
Are they, or is it optics?
And that's what I'm saying. They're trying. Okay, so they're doing the best they know how. So that's what I'll say. It's really interesting when I start working with my clients, and I do work with really large organizations and then those that are more sort of small, medium enterprises. And particularly when I start working with these small, mediums, they're like, but the big guys, aren't they doing it right? And I'm like, no. In fact,
no.
My experience is it's the smaller organizations. When I say small, around 1,000 FTE, they're doing a better job at doing it in practice.
Why? Is it because they're smaller, they're more nimble, they're able to pivot and put,
yeah, and they can also they can be held to account if they don't do it. It's not such a big monolith that you can go, yeah, we're doing this, and no one really knows if you are or not. When it's a smaller organization, if you say you're going to do something, you kind of have to.
If you say you're going to do something, you kind of have to. And it comes down to accountability. Who should be holding these companies accountable? Is it the employees? Is it the public? Is it the customers? And how do you hold a company accountable?
It's certainly multifaceted, right? Consumers, whether they're B2B or B2C, they have a huge voting power and holding organizations to account. I don't know about yourself, but I know that I have, even before inclusion was my jam, I was boycotting organizations personally.
Right. You leave with your wallet, right? Like a customer, if you just boycott.
Yeah, absolutely. So I won't name them because I don't want us to get in trouble.
We're not naming and shaming here.
No. But we do that. Okay, so, and that goes for the same for talent. I would not work for an organization if I knew that they weren't living the values that I subscribe to either.
So let's get some practical advice for any job seekers out there and any job seekers where this is really important to you, and it should be important to everybody, every job seeker, every employee at a company. What are some fair questions to ask during an interview where you're maybe not as a candidate seeming overbearing, or you might, seem a little bit rocking the boat?
Yeah. I think it's also natural. When I was looking at Danielle's sort of byline of being a Gen Z strategist, I think a lot of the time we could come into an interview asking questions that are self-centered, and I don't mean self-centered consumed with ourselves, but they tend to be about self. If we flip the question to those that are interviewing us, so how do you feel included at work? How do you see others being included at work? Where do you think inclusion could be done better in your organization? You kind of flipping the dialogue and the conversation back on the person that you're interviewing. You're still getting your questions answered.
Interesting.
And then you don't get that label of, they're just so entitled.
Right, but I also find it too. Also, I mean, I've seen it before where there's a lot of talk in the interviews and everything, and then into practice, you're like, that's a wrong bill of goods. That's not what I signed up for. So let's kind of move. Let's kick the can down the road here on this one. So how can employees within a company Be true advocates for change.
There we go. That's my specialization, right? I'm all about flipping this to the onus being on the person that's like the majority, right? The onus should not be on the person that needs to be included. It's about taking responsibility on ourselves. So this conversation around, I'm an ally. Are you? I'm all about the advocate, right? So are you an actionable advocate? Are you doing things? And my model is called the 8 inclusion needs of all people. So if we started talking about being an ally for people that are based on sexual identity, gender, age, and life cycle, whether it's veteran, PTSD, neurodiversity, like just saying you're an ally of one of those identities, does that mean you're not an ally of others? So
that's a good point, right? Like you could be allies on many fronts. I'm allies on many fronts.
Yeah.
But what makes a good ally?
Someone that takes the accountability on themselves to create an inclusive experience for everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean assuming everyone has an inclusion need. And if I make sure that people's access needs and respect needs, opportunity, I mean, there's 8 of them, and I won't ramble on.
well, let's just name the 8.
Okay, the 8. So it's about access, creating safe space, physical and psychological. It's about creating opportunities for people, representation and making sure people are valued once they're in the room. What's the next one? Allowances, making allowances so people can thrive, language, respect, and support.
Do they have to all work together? What if you're, under indexing on one of them?
Well, if you're not being respectful of people while you're doing it.
I want everyone to be inclusive, especially you. So you better be. No, you have to. There's a way.
Well,
there's a way to do it.
Adam. Yeah, right. You can actually have an accessible environment, but if you're not allowing people in the room for representation, what's the point?
Well, Liz, this has been fantastic, and I know there's a lot more to get into. Where could folks connect with you? Where could they learn more? Where could they unpack these 8 elements?
Hit me up on LinkedIn. It's like my address book. But other than that, if you want to find out more, include Inc., Google it. Google Dr. Liz. I'm there. Have a chat.
I love it. Thank you, Dr. Liz, and we'll catch up soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's keep it moving. Thanks. Let's move on. Danielle, what do we got going on here?
We've got one of my best friend's dogs, Zeke, that actually looks a lot like this week's pet, Coco, but Zeke and Coco are different dogs. Zeke is not pink-haired.
Oh. No, and this pet of the week is Coco. And this HR Pause is sponsored by This Way Global and their new tool, Sully's Sandbox, a user-friendly interface to search and discover valuable data and AI solutions with access to high-quality data sets. You could tap into trusted and secure data and AI solutions. So take a cue from Sully and come play in the sandbox. And guess what? If you want to schedule a demo, scan the QR code on that screen right over there. And by scheduling your demo, you'll be participating in This Way Global's Pause for Pause program, where they'll donate $100 to your favorite pet charity. Thank you, This Way Global. Thank you for your support.
Guys, this dog does a funny thing where he does long kisses. No, look, he's just like holding his tongue there. Just like
Joel does the same thing. Jeez, I mean, come on, that's like a layup. That's because he's not a creep. Well, I want to thank everybody here. I know Joel has a plane to catch. He's going to be out there in Nashville. I want to thank Danielle, and I want to thank our team in the back. I want to thank everyone from calling in, everyone getting out to RecFest. Remember to get your ponchos, get your slots over from ERIN. Check out all the parties. Thank you, and check out later today. We have Hire Her, a Talent Collective pod. Tomorrow, I'm sorry. Let's go. Acorn at purpleacorn.io. Check us out on Spotify, and we will be back here next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Get with it, everybody. Safe travels. Have a great time at RecFest, and we will catch you next week on HR Morning Show. Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.